Hello dear students. So in the NSEJS 2025 series, this is our lecture number 2 and I'm your master teacher Vikas Agarwal. In this series what we are going to cover, I'm going to show you that, and today what we are going to do, I'm going to show you that also. So in this series, these are the chapters that we will be covering one by one, and right now this chapter is going on. One lecture has already happened for this chapter and this is the second lecture. Okay, so we are currently doing basic mathematics, and it is one of the foundational things that we need to study physics in detail. Okay, in basic maths also we are going to cover these areas: trigonometry, coordinate geometry, determinants, functions, differentiation, integration, and we are going to study them only to that extent which is needed in physics. These are all independent chapters in mathematics that you will cover as part of your mathematics course in grade 11th and grade 12. Okay, but I will give you an exposure on these chapters so that we can use them, because we will be needing them much earlier as compared to when you would be studying them as part of your regular maths course. Right now we are in this trigonometry chapter. In this chapter, in the last session, we talked about angles and quadrants, trigonometric ratios, table of common angles, identities, angle greater than 90 degrees. So all this was covered in lecture number 1, and we are today going to talk about the sum and the difference formula, and we are going to see how to use them. So without wasting any time, let's begin, guys. So what do we mean when we say sum formula? So let's say I want, okay, now 75 is not one of the common angles that I mentioned in the table that I showed you in the previous session. Okay, the common angles that I mentioned were 0 degree, 30 degree, 37 degree, 45 degree, 53 degree, 60 degree, 90 degree. So 75 was not part of that list, but 75 degree can be split into two angles which were part of our common angles. Okay, for example, I can choose to write 75 as 45 plus 30, or if you want to write it as 30 plus 40, that's also fine. Okay, when I write it like this, I can see that this compares with this form, and I can say that, okay, let me take A as 45 degree, let me take B as 30 degree. So sine A plus B will be written as sine of A, that is sine 45, cos 30 plus cos 45 multiplied by sine 30, and now we can substitute the values here. These are all standard angles. 30 degree, 45 degree. These are standard angles, so we can substitute their values. So sine 45 is 1 upon root 2. I hope you have already learnt the values that I mentioned in the table. Cos 30 degree is root 3 by 2. Okay, and then cos 45 is again 1 upon root 2. Okay, sine 30 degree is half. So value of sine 75 would be root 3 plus 1 upon 2 root 2. Okay, so this is the answer. So like this, we can find out the sine, cos and tan of some more angles. Like we have learnt values for certain common angles, and using those values, we can then discover the values of sine, cos and tan for some more angles which are the combination of those standard values. Okay, likewise we have a formula for cos A plus B. This formula is cos A cos B minus sine, this is minus, okay, so minus sine A sine B. Okay, and then we also have a formula for tan A plus B. Okay, and this formula is tan A plus tan B upon 1 minus tan A tan B. All right, so I expect you guys to learn all the three formulas, okay, because you will be needing them. I'll be sharing an assignment with you in the description of this session, and when you try to solve questions in that assignment, you will need these formulas. Okay, so as we have some formula, we have the difference formula also. For example, we can talk about sine of A minus B also, and actually this is very simple. If you know the sum formula, you can replace B by minus B in this entire formula, and you will get the formula for sine A minus B. Doing that will give you sine A cos B minus cos A sine B. So this is the formula for sine A minus B. Okay, likewise, if we want to write formula for cos A minus B, it would be cos A cos B plus, here we have plus sine A sine B. Okay, then tan of A plus B, A minus B. Okay, this would be given by tan A minus tan B divided by 1 plus tan A tan B. Okay, so these are the formula. Again, how we can use them? So suppose I ask you to find out the value of tan of 15 degree. Now notice that 15 is not amongst the list of our common angles, but we can write 15 using 45 and 30 degree. So therefore we can try to find out the value. So sine 45 minus 30 will help us. So this will become tan 45 minus tan 30 divided by 1 plus tan 45 and into tan 30. So I can now substitute the value. Tan 45 is 1, tan 30 is 1 upon root 3, 1 plus again 1 into 1 upon root 3. So this will become root 3 minus 1 upon root 3 plus 1. Of course, you can now choose to rationalize that fraction. That's a different issue. But yeah, tan 15 is something that we have found out. And likewise, we can find out sine 15 also, cos 15 also, and so on. All right, so going back again, some formula, you have to learn them. You replace b by minus b and then do the calculations. You will get the difference formula. And from the difference formula, we can also talk about the double angle formula. All right, so what is double angle formula now? So let's say I want to talk about sine of 2a. Okay, I want to talk about sine of 2a. So what you can do in this formula, if you replace b by a, then a plus a becomes 2a. All right, and you see what here we will get. You will get sine a cos a, and again cos a sine a. So what does the formula becomes? The formula becomes 2 times of sine a cos a. Similarly, if you want to find out sine of cos of 2a, okay, it will become cos a again. So that's cos a square, sine a again. So sine a square, or you can say it's cos square a. This is how we write. Okay, we put the square on cos if we are not using the brackets. Okay, so cos square a minus sine square a, which can then further be written as, you can change this cos square to sine square by using the identity. Cos square a can be written as 1 minus sine square a. Okay, and from where did I write this? Okay, I write this using this. 1 is equals to sine square theta, or sine square theta plus cos square theta. So cos square can be written as 1 minus sine square. That is what I've done here. So this will become 1 minus 2 sine square a. Okay, or else you could have replaced this sine square in terms of cos square. Even that you could have done. So it would have become cos square a minus 1 minus cos square a, and then it would have become 2 cos square a minus 1. So for cos 2a, there are 3 expressions. Okay, I'll write it here. So sine 2a was 2 times of sine a cos a. Okay, cos 2a, we just noted it. It is cos square a minus sine square a, which can also be written as 1 minus sine square a, which can also be written as 2 cos square a minus 1. All right, and likewise you can also talk about tan 2a. Okay, how you will find out the value of tan 2a? Again, in the formula of tan a plus b, you replace b by a. So this will become 2 times of tan a, all right, divided by 1 minus tan square. Again, I ask you guys to to do this exercise, to replace b by a in these expressions yourself. In these expressions, replace b by a and calculate the right hand side to discover that these are the formulas that we are going to get. Now, how to use this formula, how to use the double angle formula? For that, let's say I want to know the value of sine 74 degree. Okay, let's say I want to know the value of sine 74 degree. Now again, 74 is not amongst the list of the standard angles, but 74 is 2 times of 37, which is a standard angle. So you can write it as 2 cos 37 into sine 37. Okay, so it will become 2 into cos 37 is 4 by 5 and sine 37 is 3 by 5. So it will become what? 24 by 25. Okay, so that is one way of using it. The other way is, suppose I ask you the value of sine square 20, sorry, not square, we can get rid of the square actually. Suppose I ask you the value of sine 22.5. Okay, I ask you the value of sine 22.5. Now, how to do this? 22.5 is half of 45 degree. Okay, so to solve this, okay, what I will do, see this carefully. This is an example. So I will write, okay, sine 45 is 2 times of sine 22.5, okay, into cos 22.5. Okay, this is what we can write. So this will become 1 upon root 2 is equals to 2. Sine 22.5 is what I'm trying to find out. Let me put it as x. And cos 22.5, it will become root of 1 minus x square. Okay, getting it? All right, so now if I do the square on both sides, it will become 1 upon 2 is equals to 4x square into 1 minus x square, which can then be written as 1 is equals to 8x square minus 8x raised to power 4. Okay, which can then be written as 1 is equals to, I'm rewriting the same equation and then I will do the math. 1 equal to 8x square minus 8x raised to power 4, or we can write it as 8x raised to power 4 minus 8x square plus 1 equal to 0. Now this is a quadratic equation in x square, like this is x square square and this is x square, so this is a quadratic equation in x square. So x square can be written as minus b, that is minus of minus 8 plus minus root of b square, so that would be 64, minus 4 into a into c divided by 2a. So this would become 8 plus minus root of 64 minus 32, that is 32. Okay, divided by 16. So this will become 8 plus minus 4 root 2. Okay, 8 plus minus 4 root 2 divided by 16. Getting this? So we have two values now for x square. One is 8 plus 4 root 2 by 16 and the other would be 8 minus 4 root 2 by 16. Now if you notice that both of them are positive values, okay, both of them are positive values, but this number is more than half. This number is more than half. All right, so it is more than sine square, like this number is more than half. This is the larger number, this is the smaller number. Okay, so we will ignore this part and we will take this part. So x can be written as root of 8 minus 4 root 2. So like this we can find out the value of sine of 22 minus 22.5. I hope you are getting it, everyone. So this is the value of sine 22.5. So this is how we can make use of the double angle formula. All right, now let's talk about triangles again, very essential part. So when we make any triangle, all right, we generally use capital alphabets to name the vertices. For example, we can call this vertex as vertex A, we can call this as vertex B, we can call this as vertex C. Okay, and then the side opposite to vertex A is given the name of small a. Okay, so this BC side will be written with small a. So small a will indicate length of the side which is opposite to vertex A. Similarly, this would become B because it is opposite to angle B, and this would become C, small c. Now, if we have made a triangle like this, there are certain inequalities that we have to keep in mind. So in a triangle, the first thing that you have to keep in mind is that sum of any two sides, okay, sum of any two sides is greater than or equal to, like I'll tell you when equality will exist. Sum of any two sides will be greater than equal to third side. Okay, which is actually very simple to observe. What this statement says is that b plus c will be greater than or equal to a. Now when will it become equal to, that we'll see, but I think it's pretty obvious. You start from this point, you travel along this length b and then c, so b plus c is obviously going to be a greater route. It's going to be a longer route as compared to the direct distance a. All right, so b plus c, nothing fancy it seems, but the idea should be there in your mind, because there will be situations in which we will be using this idea to to arrive at conclusions. And I said sum of any two sides, so we can also write a plus c is greater than equal to b, or we can write a plus b is greater than equal to c. All right, now when does the equality holds? Now suppose I start bringing a point downward, so b plus c, b plus c, b plus c. You see that if I am continuously bringing a point downward, and eventually if I make a triangle of nearly zero area, can you see this? If I keep on bringing a point down and I bring it so down that it almost touches the BC line. All right, in other words, if I say that I've made a triangle of zero area, okay, then in that case the equality will hold. So the equality holds when the 3 points become collinear. Okay, then it can become that b plus c becomes equals to a. Okay, so this is one of the triangular inequalities. The other triangular inequality that you have to keep in mind is that sum we have already talked about. We are now going to talk about difference. Okay, so the other triangular inequality is that difference of any two sides that will be less than equal to the third side. Okay, in other words, if I say b minus d, now I don't know which one of these is bigger one. I'll keep the bigger one in the front, or I'll use a mod sign. So this will be less than a. Similarly, b minus a mod of this will be less than equal to c, and let's say a minus c mod will be less than b. So the sum of two sides is always greater than the third side, and the difference of any two sides is always less than the third side. If the triangle is not of zero area, then the equality will not hold in this also, and in this also, in the previous one also, like the equality will not hold. Okay. Now how to use this inequality? Okay, suppose if I tell you that I made a triangle with 2, 4 and 8 meters as side length, okay, then you can straight away tell me, no sir, that is wrong. It is not possible to make a triangle in which the length of the side is 2 meter, 4 meter and 8 meter. Why? Because if I'm trying to add these two, I get a number which is smaller than the third side. So it is impossible to make a triangle in which the side lengths are 2, 4 and 8. Sir, what will happen if we try to make it? Let's do it. So let me start by making any a line of 8 meter in length. Let's say in our copy we have decided that 1 centimeter will represent 8 meter. So 1 centimeter will represent 1 meter. So to represent 8 meter, you can draw 8 centimeter long line in your notebooks. Use the scale to measure the length. So 8 centimeter line you can draw. Now from this end, I need to draw a side which is 2 meter in length. Okay. So in your notebooks, you will draw a line which is 2 centimeter in length, and those 2 centimeter can be in this direction, it can be in this direction, in this direction, in any direction. So the point is that when you draw the 2 centimeter length, okay, you will get the third vertex. Like let's say this is vertex A of the triangle, this is vertex B of the triangle. Okay, so the third vertex has to lie on a circle. It has to lie on a circle of radius 2, right? Because from this point you can go in any direction to draw the third line, and but the third line has to be the second line, the next line. It has to be 2 meter 2 centimeter in length in your notebooks. Similarly, to represent the third side, which is 4 meter, you will draw a line in your notebooks which is 4 centimeter in length, and you have to start from this point. So 4 centimeter in this direction, or in this direction, or in this direction, or in this direction, in whichever direction you want to go, you can go, and your destination point will definitely lie on a circle like this. Okay, so what we are suggesting is that if we are trying to make a triangle ABC, okay, if we are trying to make a triangle ABC such that this length becomes 8 meter, this becomes 4 meter, and this becomes 2 meter. Writing number does not mean that I will get the value I want. All right, my pen doesn't stop me to write whatever I want, but it would mean that C point needs to lie on this circle as well as this circle, but the circles don't intersect with each other. So how can we have two C points? Okay, I'm trying to draw a triangle like this. So C point needs to be at a distance of 2 meter from A, which means C has to be on a circle, on this circle, because all the points which are 2 meter away from A are on this circle. Okay, of course, we are staying in the plane. We are not allowed to come out of the plane because triangle is a planar figure. Okay, similarly, this C point needs to be 4 meter away from B, and all the points that are 4 meter away from B lie on this circle. So C has to be on this circle, and C has to be on this circle. Not possible. So so you see that why it is not possible to draw a triangle with these sides. So the point is that the moment you get three numbers, and if I ask you that check whether we can get a triangle using those three numbers or not, you can either check this inequality, the difference one, or you can check the sum one. If any one inequality like if it is satisfied, then the triangle can be formed. Otherwise we can't form the triangle. So that is about triangular inequalities. I hope that you know how to write the area of the triangle, so I'm not spending time on that. Instead, I'm going to talk about the sine rule and the cos rule. Okay, so there are two rules that we use very commonly in physics. So what are those rules? Let me tell you that. So let's say we have a triangle like this. Okay. Let's say this value, this is A, this is B, this is C. Okay, so according to our way of naming, we will name this as A, okay, we will name this as B, and we will name this as C. Okay, now what does sine rule says? Sine rule says sine of angle A. Angle A means this angle, the angle that is formed at the vertex A. So sine of angle A divided by the side which is opposite to this angle, that is side A. This ratio will be same as sine of angle B upon B. So sine of this angle divided by the side length which is opposite this angle, and this will also be equal to sine C upon C. So this rule is called the sine rule. Okay, a very handy rule. Very useful rule, guys. Okay, so that is the sine rule. And what does the cos rule says? Okay, watch this, guys. Cos rule says that if you want to write cos of angle A, this one is a bit tricky, this one is a bit lengthier, so pay careful attention. So sine of angle, cos of angle A would mean, see this, A is bounded by, it is formed by C and B. Okay, the angle A is formed by sides B and C. So square of these sides comes first. I'm telling you the way to remember. The sides that make the angle, sum of squares of those side minus the other, the third side, the square of third side divided by 2 into BC. Okay, this is cos rule. Okay, this is cos rule. Okay, see, following this rule, if I ask you to write cos B, can you tell me what you should be writing? Cos B, if you are trying to write cos B, we should be writing A square plus C square. So squares of the side that constitute the angle minus square of the third side divided by 2 into product of those sides that have constituted this angle. All right, likewise you can write cos C also. So you don't have to remember different formulas for cos A, cos B, cos C. Just remember one formula, right? And it is better that you remember the formula from the figure, that if you are trying to write cos of this angle, then this square plus this square minus this square divided by 2 times the product of these two. Okay, so we'll do some examples on this. Okay, suppose I give you a triangle like this, you know, any random numbers I'm giving you. So suppose this length is 5 meter, this length is 7 meter, and let's say this length is 10 meter. Okay, so first of all, check whether the numbers I've given you are they capable enough to constitute a triangle or not. So sum of any two should be greater than third, and that is applicable. Okay, so in this triangle, suppose I gave you this angle. Suppose I mentioned that this angle is 32. Again guys, I'm randomly writing the number. Okay, so or rather we should not, we can find this angle. We don't, I can ask you to give me this angle. Okay, please tell me how much this angle would be. If I make a triangle like this, okay, then how much this angle would be. We can call it as A, this as B. So we want to know cos of angle A. Okay, there's one more thing. Many times the question will ask you to find the angle. Okay, when any question asks you to find the angle, what it essentially means is that you try to find out value of any one trigonometric ratio, either sine of that angle or cos of that angle or tan of that angle. If you can tell me the value of any one trigonometric ratio of the angle, then we will assume that you know the angle, because once you have arrived at the trigonometric values, we can always go to the charts, trigonometric charts, and we can see which angle it is. Okay, so when the question says find the angle, it basically means that you have to find any one trigonometric ratio. So here we are trying to find the value of cos A. So it would be 5 square plus 10 square minus 7 square divided by 2 into 5 into 10. So this will become 25 plus 100 minus 49 divided by 100. Okay, so how much does that become? 125 minus, so that's 76 by 100. So that's 0.76. Now, because I know the value of cos A, it implies that I know the value of A. Okay, so that's how you can use the. Similarly, if I ask you to find out the value of C, the cos of C, you can do that. Okay, so that's how we make use of the cos rule. Okay guys, so in today's session we will cover this much only. In the description of this session you will find assignments. Please attempt that before you watch the next session. Alright students, take care everyone. I'll see you in the next session. Bye bye.